Good evening, everybody. This is Kevin Ross, and you are attending the Auburn District event team briefing. We are going to talk about what it's going to take to safely arrive and have a great time at Auburn High School during our Week 5 event. So with me on the line is Jan Erie. Jan is the leader of the native Auburn team, and Adrian Rimey, who is our program manager. And we will be going through all of the logistics about going to this event. We're going to go pretty quick since I know a lot of you have actually already seen other presentations. If you end up getting to the point where we're done with the logistics part, feel free to drop off, or the event-specific part, and you would like to drop off, feel free to do so. We won't be holding you to it. Your microphone is off, of course, because it's a first while webinar. If you've got a question, please type it into the questions box, and we will do our best to answer it for you. And we will be posting the slides for this up on the First While website when we are done. So we are going to actually probably breeze through the first couple of slides because I think this is event 2 for almost all of you, so you've already seen a lot of this. Here's our agenda for tonight. Again, after the event specifics, feel free to drop off. I won't be offended whatsoever. As always, before you arrive, we would really, really appreciate it if your team would have your main contact register on our website so that we know how to get a hold of you and also how to there's some other questions on there. So to do that, on our website, go to FRC, District Model, check in. Here's the little form, easy to fill out. You're going to select, for this event, you'll be selecting the Auburn High School event. Tell us your team number, how many students and stuff you're expecting to bring, and a contact info. We'd really appreciate your doing that right away. And of course, just a quick reminder that under District Model, you will find our supplemental rules. These are official first rules. We are allowed to enforce these like all other first rules, and a lot of this just has to do with what to do and what to bring. Most important for most of you is what to bring, the required equipment for your pits. We need you to bring your own power cord and a piece of wood to pound on, so make sure you're bringing all of these things. We'd really appreciate your help. There are other information many of you have already heard, so I won't go delve into it, but the electrical power and pit rules and cart and wheel protection still apply. So we appreciate your help with that. And then, of course, under District Model, you will find the Auburn Week 5 event, and the details for this briefing will be posted down here at the bottom after a little while afterwards, and we'll also post the recording. So there we go. Now, while we're here, while I'm on this page, I just wanted to point out, because I've had a couple of people ask me in person, where do I find my district ranking points? And if you were looking for that, hey, look at this. There's a tab right here. This will take you to our auxiliary website of ours. You can check out the Pacific Northwest point rankings, and if you were to click on that and not be in demo mode, there we go. This is the current rankings, and so you're welcome to come check this out. It looks like we've had 99 of our 153 teams compete so far. Turns out nobody has played their second play yet. I believe those are going to start this week. So congratulations to Shockwave, which is an Oregon team. They're in first place, followed by Cyber Knights. And if you wanted to see what it was that they won, if you click on them, you can see actually the details about how we calculated their points. So it's kind of an interesting thing. You can poke through there. Feel free to use that to your advantage or for just your amusement. Okay, off we go to the next slide. You still get a robot access period. So if you are attending, this is going to be your second event. In the rules, you are attending a 2-day event, even though it's really a 2.5-day event. So you are allowed to take your robot out of the bag 7 days prior to your event. So I'll let you figure out the math on that. This is your final build day. Do not show up at the event expecting to do a whole bunch of work on your robot. That is not how the district model works. You are showing up to get inspected and to play, not to build. So the common refrain is, if you're bringing 45 pounds of withholdings to the event to work on your robot, you are planning on making a huge mistake. You should be putting those 45 pounds on at home. So please keep that in mind. Again, the pit power is limited. I've gone over this before. This is going to be everybody's second event, is my guess. You can read all about this actually, so I won't belabor this too much. We've been having absolutely no problems with people blowing circuits. Every now and then we'll get a GFI fault, but usually it's turned out that's been somebody's bad equipment. Thank you all for adhering to the rules. Everything is going swimmingly on the power department. I will remind you, all of our gyms have very little power in them. We need, it turns out, 3 20-amp circuits in order to run the field, and most gyms have only 2 or maybe 3. So we've been having to steal power from elsewhere. We are really stingy about this. We will confiscate anything that you plug into any outlet that is inside the gym. So you've been warned about that. We did have to take one thing at a previous event, and somebody was very unhappy about it, but there you go. Okay. So just as a rough schedule overview of the whole event, Thursday is team arrival and inspections. Friday, all day long, qualification matches. Saturday morning, qualification matches. Saturday afternoon, final rounds. Notice that final build and work on your robot is not listed anywhere here. Okay, now the specifics. So where are we going? You are going to Auburn Senior High School. This is not Auburn Mountain View. It causes a little bit of confusion sometimes. This is a school that is in downtown Auburn, 800 4th Street Northeast in Auburn, and it is currently under renovation, which is pretty exciting for them. They're getting a bunch of new spiffy buildings, and so the aerial map I'm going to show you is a little bit outdated, but most of the pertinent parts are still there. This is what the school still looks like for the most part down here on this end. The stuff at the top is mostly still there. So when you look at, if you go pull up a satellite map, everything on 4th Street is right. Everything that's on the other is beyond may or may not exist, and it turns out there's a bunch of new buildings up there. We are going to be participating by the event itself is in the lower right-hand corner here, right above where it says 4th Street. That is the main gym. It'll be a one-sided event for those of you who care, and the practice field will be behind the curtain. The pits are going to be in the auxiliary gym, and the pits are in this large room over here in the center. The pits are going to be, let's call them snug. It's a very, very full room. However, I think it's going to work out just fine. We last weekend at Oregon City, we did the pits in a very similar sized room. It worked fine. We'll have a splendid time. There is a short hall that connects the two. So that is where you're going. Now, when you arrive, and at this point, I'm going to invite Jan to correct me whenever I make a mistake so that we get this right. When you arrive on Thursday, you are allowed to pull up, and you can use the bus lane over here as long as you're arriving, say, after 4:30. You can park or you can stop and pause anywhere along here to unload your vehicle. You will be taking your materials in through the doors down here by the gym. Jan, were we going to use the doors in the center as well? I can't remember.
We can use the doors in the center, but I think most people will probably go in by the gym, and maybe they could exit out the center.
Yeah.
That would avoid some of a traffic jam.
Sure. There is a door over here in the center.
You go in the gym doors.
Oh.
Sorry. You go in the gym doors, and then we would point you where to go from there. Yes.
So I think Jan gives us very good advice. So you will be entering. Whoops. What did I do? I need to back up. Stand by. Okay. So I thought I turned on my little magical pen tool. I want the pen. There we go. So actually, the highlighter, there it is. Where's my mouse? I lost my mouse. So you will be entering over here at the yellow area. Sorry if that looks ugly, But you'll be basically entering over here, and there's a little door over here. You'll follow the directions. There'll be people out there guiding you. So that's sort of the main entrance. You can pause and unload anywhere along this over here, or if you have a small car load and there's this is a school lot across the street here. If there's room in there in the evening, you're welcome to park there and pull some stuff in. Jan, are we allowed to use this church parking lot on Thursday?
On Friday, yeah, on Thursday and on Friday. And the part that you've got color, oh, yeah, so that part, the church parking lot, and then there's also more parking behind that church. You can't see it on the screen.
Okay, well, we'll be talking about parking here in just a minute, but a little bit more detailed. And also on Thursday, if you need to, there is another parking. Is this parking lot still in existence?
Yes, and the other big parking lot is to the right of the gym and behind it.
So
and whether it looks like it's grass right over above that, that's all parking lot now.
This is all parking here?
Yep.
Okay. So there's quite a bit of parking pretty close, folks, so that's kind of nice. Trailers are going to be a bit of an issue trying to park in here, so I would say
that... Trailers are okay on Thursday. Trailers are okay on Thursday. They would be an issue on Friday.
Okay. We would ask...
easy to bring in on Thursday.
Okay. And I think actually when I'm going to go re-highlight it in red, you could potentially drop off back here, but please don't park back here. Or actually, should we just not go back?
I wouldn't do that, Kevin. I think that will be probably locked. That gate will be locked.
Okay, so
people won't be parking off back in there.
Allow me to rephrase what I intended to say originally, which was don't go in there.
Yeah. Okay,
that sounds good. Yay! Hey, look at this. I'm using new tools. I've never really used a highlighter tool. It made a mess, didn't it? Wow, very cool. All right. So hopefully you're good with that, and hopefully there aren't too many questions. So that's sort of the logistics of arriving. Let's move on to the logistics of parking. So on Friday, school is in session on Friday, which just like many of our other venues creates some interesting parking issues. Luckily, there are several auxiliary lots which are really just within walking distance. They're just a couple of blocks away, so it shouldn't be too bad. So I think the first one is this church parking lot here. See if I can highlight it. Let me give a better color. So if and we will have day of, we'll try and generate some maps for you guys to follow. Let me get an even better one. Let's go with red. Okay, so in the red over here, you can use this church parking lot, and there's also parking back here for the church.
I think you're in the wrong spot.
Am I?
Yeah, so go over to where it says Veterans Memorial Park in the center. Okay, oh no, I see where your red is now. That's correct, sorry. I was looking at your cursor that was red over here. No, that's right, that is the church parking lot.
And then we can use Fulmer Field, right?
Yep.
So this is parking for you. And I think this is also Fulmer Field. Wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then this is one of the other churches down here, is that correct?
I'm not sure where you're pointing.
How about I do this?
Cursor. Oh, no. That's
okay.
an apartment.
Then let's not park there then.
Yeah, where it says Veterans Memorial Park, there is parking in there for about 30 cars.
Okay.
Which is right behind the stadium.
Okay, so let me, I tried to do this with probably the wrong tool. Allow me to take everybody on just a really brief tour using a better tool here. Let's get out maps.bing.com, and we'll go to Auburn Senior High School in lovely, there we go, and we'll do a little bird's eye action on there. I'll zoom right in. Whoop, sorry about the big scroll there, folks. We'll get you. Okay, So here is a nice little aerial map. So Jan, you were talking about being able to use behind the football stadium.
So right now, to the left of the football field, it has a white line going in, and it has trees. Under the trees is parking.
Oh, so that's a huge parking area back there.
Okay, no, your hand is on the wrong side. So it's the left of the football stadium.
Okay.
There's a bunch of trees.
Got it.
Okay, and in that place, that's where there's about 30.
Okay.
The parking lot's adjacent to the football stadium. We can't use that staff parking.
This one to the lower right of the football stadium is staff parking.
Right. The church that's next door, you can use the parking lot that's both in front of the church and in back of the church. And in back,
that's actually quite a bit of parking if you look. Okay.
And then the building to the right of that, which is a white roof, which is parking, that's our district administration office. We can use parking in there as well.
Awesome. There's plenty of parking there. Good. And this basically, folks, is right across the street from the school, so that's great.
Right. And the parking lot that's adjacent to the school building off 4th Street, we can't, that's again staff parking, can't use that. That's in the center of the screen right now. And if you continue to pan to the left.
To the left.
Yeah, go left. There we go. And go down a little, no, see right there, that's good. At the bottom of the screen, kind of in the center, you see grass.
Yeah.
With a green roof building ahead of it. All that grass is, and all those houses are now gone. That is all parking. And that's our student parking lot, which is only ever half full.
Okay.
So it's between 2nd and 3rd Street.
Yeah.
Between 2nd and 3rd, and yeah.
So all of this is now, so basically, is the green building still there?
The green building's there, but all the grass and the buildings, that all the houses got taken out, and that's all a big parking lot now. Okay,
so between 2nd Street, bordered by E Street, and up to 3rd Street, that whole area is parking, and if it's available on Friday after 8 a.m., they may use it.
Yep.
Okay. So I think actually, my guess is that's going to be plenty of parking for everybody.
Right, and you can park on the street as well.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions about parking from anybody about what we just went through or not? I will move on. I think we gave you plenty of parking options. We will talk about buses and trailers here on the next slide. I will tell you that this school is open for business. So Friday is going to be one of those lovely school is open for business days, which means we want you to not arrive before 8 a.m.
8:15.
8:15 a.m. I will change that on the slide. So everywhere you see 8 a.m., call that 8:15, and I will change that before we post these. So do not arrive, so arrive after 8:15, not before 8:15, so that means that you'll want to show up and get yourself ready to go right away and be efficient about dropping people off and getting into the building. At this point, you should have already loaded in and hopefully you have already passed inspection. So life will be good. The event itself does not start until about 11 o'clock. So you know that 15 minutes is not going to be that critical for you.
Well, and people need to remember too, they're not going to be let into the pit area early if they show up early.
Right.
So it's not going to be to your advantage to arrive at 8 o'clock because you'll have to battle traffic. You'll have frustrated first WA personnel because you're getting there early, and you'll still have to stand around, and you won't be able to enter the pits any sooner.
Yep. So hopefully that made sense to everybody, and we appreciate your compliance with that. If you can imagine with your school, if an extra 1,200 people showed up, we are going to have a definite impact on the school. Let's minimize it and not create too much confusion. Thank you for your gracious professionalism on that one. So on Friday especially, we'd appreciate it if you would carpool, bring mass transportation like a bus, I think a good plan is to, Well, actually, you know, this one is so short. Yeah, the off-site parking, you might as well just go straight over there. You really, almost all of this stuff is just walking across the street. So I will rescind item number 3 here. It doesn't actually make a whole lot of sense. But all parking is a short walk. And then parking at the school building will probably open up a little bit after 3 p.m. when the school lets out. Okay?
Yep.
All right. This is a open school. We are in this in the space with the school. Everybody, all participants of FIRST will be given a wristband to identify you as a FIRST team. This is a two-way street. That way, we know if somebody is investigating your pits and are not wearing an official FIRST wristband, we will all know to ask them how they're doing and who they are. And vice versa, that way, if there's an issue out in the school building with somebody with a FIRST wristband on, we'll know what to do about it. So we appreciate it. These are required. They're not optional, and we will be giving them to you during PID admin. If you need additional wristbands for team members who may have either lost theirs or taken it off on Friday night into Saturday, let us know. We will give you some more. Okay? Bus transportation on Friday morning, assuming that you're arriving after 8:15, you may drop off in the bus lane and immediately leave. There is no on-site bus parking, so your buses may have to go find an alternate parking venue. It turns out bus drivers are exceedingly good at this. That's kind of their gig. They know what to do, and if they're asking for your help, it turns out if you go right up here, hey, it's Fred Meyer. Look at it. It's not a holiday season. My guess is that if a bus parked in here, Fred Meyer probably wouldn't say a word. So they can head for the back corner. Or I don't know what bus drivers actually do. I always envision bus drivers going and finding somewhere and having like this crazy poker or craps game. I don't know what they actually do, but bus drivers entertain themselves pretty well. Okay. Concessions. There will be concessions open Friday. I wasn't sure what time, Jan. Are concessions all day or just in the afternoon?
Oh, they're all day.
Perfect. So that's another fix I'll make to the slides before I post them. Friday all day, Saturday all day, standard concession fare. There will be box lunches available. We will get the details up on the website and on the page for this event by Monday night. You may bring food in.
I will send the teams to this event. I will send them an order form they can fill in and send back to me.
Outstanding.
Okay, and Jan, go ahead and send that to me, and I can post it on the site as well, and that way the teams have another place to go to get it.
Awesome. Yep.
Perfect.
Of course, and since it is an open school, the cafeteria is sort of unavailable to us from about, roughly 11 a.m. till about 1 p.m. The indigenous population will be using the cafeteria, but after 1 p.m., the cafeteria is just a short walk down the hallway. May be able to use that. Please clean up after yourself. This is really important. There's no, we're going to have an enormous impact on the janitorial staff already. Let's not make life any more miserable for them by, we're doubling the population of the school for the day. So be gracious and professional and do everything you can to clean up after yourself. Really do appreciate your help with that. Okay. Jan, did I miss any other site-specific logistics you can think of?
If you are bringing food in, you want to bring in coolers and that kind of stuff, you cannot take those into the gym, but we will have a room set aside for cooler locations, so you also don't have to have them in your pit. And the room that we have set aside is adjacent to the pit. It is our restaurant. We have an on-site restaurant, and they will all go in there, so they will be monitored by the staff that's in there. But that way you can have room in your pit and not have to have the coolers in the stand because we need the room in the stand. Some things that we are looking for is we are having some elementary students come through, and so we will be looking for volunteer hosts. that's one thing that students can sign up to do for us on Friday. Let's see. We want to ask all of the teams. We are creating a volunteer thank you banner, and we wanted to ask teams to bring in something to put on that banner, something that was maybe logo-ish of yours, that you could write something from your team to all the first volunteers that are there working so hard.
How big? Can you give us just a couple more specifics about that? How big of a thing?
The banner itself is 15 feet long, and so what we had envisioned with a big, thank you to the first volunteers on it, and so what we envisioned was going around the outside of that banner would be anything from a poster size thing per team up to a 2x3. So you could personalize your thank you and add it to that big thank you.
Cool. That's a great idea. I like that.
I think that's pretty much everything I've got down on here. My one question to teams that are coming is, I know I went to the Mountain View event, and one of the things they had done is they offered a hot meal at 4:30. I didn't know if that was something that teams were interested in. Our catering department's willing to do that if there's an interest by team.
So, so that would be on Friday evening. Is that what you're intending?
Well, I'm putting that out to the group. Is that something that groups would be interested in, having a hot meal available to their teams on Friday night or not?
That's a great question. If I'm trying to think of the best way to gather that information. How about?
Kevin, what I can do is I have the ability to group email everyone at this event.
Okay.
So I can just group email and ask if they're interested or not.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Okay, I'll do that.
Outstanding. All right. Well, thank you, Jan, for that. I very much appreciate it. I think this is going to be a great event. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be one of our lovely one-sided events, which the sight lines are much better, and there's a bit more room in this gym because of that. So I'm really looking forward to it. All right. Let's talk a couple last things. So Thursday, load-in is at 5. Please don't show up anytime before 4:30. We don't care if you're there a little bit early on Thursday because it's not really going to impact anything. So if you wanted to get there at 4:30 and unload and be ready to jump in the pits at 5, that's great. We will not open the pits before 5. We don't get the building until about 3 o'clock, and it's going to take us a couple hours to get set up, run the pit power and those sorts of things. We appreciate your help with that. It might be possible for you to sneak into the building or to just walk into the building because you find an open door or something. Please don't. We are going to kick you right back out until 5 o'clock. We really need the time for that. So we appreciate your professionalism by staying outdoors. Hopefully it's going to be as lovely as it is today. I've ordered nice weather for the entire rest of the season. So I think we're good. It'll probably be a lovely day out, and you can kind of hang out, talk to the other teams outside. So we just aren't ready for you before 5. When you do go into the pits, there's a lot of materials being moved around. Some of it is long and skinny and floppy, and so we really, really need you to have safety glasses on your face, and so I think that's really important. And again, if you're dropping your materials at the front of the school that's not a parking lot, you need to staff your vehicle appropriately so you can offload, and somebody is with the car at all times, and hopefully once everything's offloaded, that vehicle can go be parked while your team is bringing everything else indoors. You know what? We do have the cable protection humps. There are going to be a couple in the pits. We mandated 3-inch wheels. I'm sorry to say I should have mandated 5-inch wheels. We will allow you to bring your 3-inch wheels, but if you haven't done anything about this yet, I'd highly recommend 5-inch wheels. 3-inch wheels are still having issues getting over our cable humps. You will have ground clearance, but it's just it's hard to do that. Please be very careful as you're going over them. And remember, your first stop, your first and only goal for Thursday is to get your robot to pass inspection. We really want you to do that. This will be probably your second event. You all have already been through inspection at least once. We anticipate this going very smoothly. The biggest things we've been seeing are people have incorrect bumper configurations, and a number of teams are unable to get themselves to collapse entirely within the frame perimeter for the start of the game. Those are the two big ones we've seen so far. Aside from that, mechanically, everybody's been doing a really good job this year, and safety-wise, we haven't seen a whole lot of really major issues. So good job generally to everybody on that. Saturday during loadout is going to work pretty much the inverse of load in. Again, get all your things ready to go, and so then you can pull your vehicle up to the bus lane to unload. We do need you to be out of there by 7:30 or by about 6:30. Our semi truck is coming at about 7, so we need to have room for that semi truck to pull in. It is huge. It's 53-foot long trailer. It's a real monster of a trailer. So we need to use the entire bus lane for that. So appreciate your help with that. All right, and you're welcome to load out if you're done. If you can load out. It turns out that there's going to be, I think, 34 teams at this event? 36?
36.
36. So the pits will be full. 24 teams make it into the elimination round. So there'll be room for about a dozen teams to go ahead, or well, actually room for about 9 teams to load out early. If you're next in list, we kind of want you to keep your robot out in case you're needed for alternate. Okay. Again, most of you should have already seen this, so I'm not going to belabor it. But we will be monitoring and enforcing our wheel diameter specifications. So, and again, Thursday, all about inspection. Please do your best to get inspected, and don't forget to ask for help. Okay. And I think most of you have actually already seen all of these slides, so I'm not going to go very quickly through them. Again, bring your own safety glasses, and as always, now this event actually probably more than the others. This event in Shorewood, we're going to be the tightest on pit space. So if you've ever thought, hey, wow, we love our really big pit display, it's really cool. Be nice if it wasn't so complex to set up. If you wanted to prune a few things out of there, I think this would be an excellent event to do that at. We're only going to be there for about 2 days, and we are going to consume every inch of the pit space. You'll be amazed how full it actually is. So anything you can do to leave things behind without impacting your team's functionality or character would be greatly appreciated. Okay. Also, team registration on Thursday. Please check in at 5 p.m. with the pit admin. We'll give you the forms and such. Oh, by the way, so we may not have made this abundantly clear to everybody. You got 1 set of driver buttons at your first event. We need you to bring those back. We apologize if we didn't make that really clear to you, but we only have 1 set of driver buttons for each team, so we need you to bring your driver buttons back. If you can't find a driver's button, go see pit admin. We'll have an alternate for you. It won't be as spiffy though, so we would appreciate your tracking those down and bringing them with you. And actually it turns out if you've got a driver button from a previous year, that probably would work as well. So I know my team's got a whole box of them. So all right. Who to bring on Thursday? Just like before, this is Thursday is pass inspection day. We will still be setting up the field in the main gym. We don't expect to get done with the field until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, if we're lucky. And so it's really not a whole lot of excitement for anybody. There's nothing to watch, nothing to see. So if you wanted to just bring your core of your team, the ones who are responsible for passing inspection and setting up your pits and drivers, that would be awesome. If your logistics are such that you need to bring your whole team, that's fine. We don't mind that at all, but they may get bored because there really isn't a whole lot to do. We'll probably open part of the stands midway through the evening for them to just come in and sit, but there really just isn't anything interesting happening. We might put them to work. Yeah, anybody that's been around me while an event is setting up has gotten quite used to the fact I'm brazen about just walking up and making kids do things. So I don't mind doing that, but there is just not a whole lot for your auxiliary members to do. Friday is awesome. Bring them all. We want everybody there on Friday. Okay. Veteran teams, this is week 5. Our spare parts have actually been doing pretty good, but our guess is that we're going to be running mighty low on spare parts at this point. If you don't mind bringing a few sensors, a couple motor controllers, maybe if you have a couple of the motors that, a Sim or a Bainbot motor or whatever, just kind of throw a little kit together of things that you can loan. We're not asking you to give away your parts, but teams may need to borrow them from you. Really appreciate that. Okay. The machine shop will be on site. It's actually going to be the school's machine shop at this event. So we have mills and lathes and the other tools. You are not allowed to just walk up and use them, as always. There is a process for that. You need to visit the machine shop admin desk, fill out a request form, and then we will get those parts taken care of for you. All right. Hey, Adrian, I think we can hear whatever you're doing.
Oh, sorry about that. No
worries. And again, the machine shop is not going to loan you any tools. We appreciate that. Inspection on Thursday, remember, it's going to be a size and a weigh-in, a physical robot inspection. You'll need to go by the control system station and get your WPA key assigned. It's a self-serve kiosk, and we also have control system advisors on hand to help you out. We absolutely require you to do a connection test on Friday morning. So Friday morning between 8:30 and 10:30 is purely dedicated to letting you go out and practice. Part of that practice step is to get out there and connect to the field at least once. Every event we have a couple of teams that take a little bit of extra time to get connected for one reason or another. Those problems sometimes take 15 to 20 minutes to solve. It's not terribly complicated, but sometimes we have to reflash your firmware and do a bunch of monkeying around. We will not hold up the game for you. If you did not pass your connection test, you're going to be out of luck. We'll be unable to help you diagnose the problem after the game starts. So, and remember, the inspectors are there to help. They're not there to be cops or anything. So they want to help you pass inspection. It is a badge of honor for not only our teams, but for all of our robot inspectors to get everybody to pass inspection on time. They strive to do that. They need your help and your cooperation. All right? By this time, it should be everybody's second play. You've already been through that. So we'll step over this, connecting to the field. You've all actually already done that already. As opposed to our first event, we are no longer scheduling practice rounds. It didn't work out week 1. Actually, I will rib my dear friend Kerry Denherter. We had a $20 bet that he could make the inspection schedule or the practice match schedule work out, and I claimed he couldn't, and now he owes me $20. But I'll split it with him. I'll take him out to a game or something. So you do need to pass inspection to run your practice match. That's one of the things that they'll be looking for. Teams will be coming out first come, first served. However, if you are a team that has not connected to the field yet, we will move you immediately to the front of the queue. So just let the queue manager know, the practice queue manager, know that you have not done your connection test yet, and we will move you in front of those who are just practicing. Thank you for your gracious professionalism by allowing the teams who have not participated yet or have not connected yet to move ahead of you. It's an important part of the game, and so we appreciate your help. All right. I know I like to belabor this, but keep in mind Thursday is no longer final build day. It is now past inspection day. Use your robot access period. Please get all of the work done in your own shop, not at ours. Okay? Don't be bashful about asking for help. We've all been there. Even the most experienced teams have had a bad week. If you need help with something or if you can't figure out a problem, there's going to be a ton of experienced people there to give you a hand. All right. Thursday, end of Thursday, pits do close at 10 p.m. We will boot you out of the building right at 10. We don't care what state things are in. As long as nothing is going to catch fire, we're going to ship you out. The pit power will be turned off on Thursday night because the pits will be run on a generator. So we appreciate your assistance in realizing that. If you need to take batteries home to charge them, please do so, home or to your hotel. So that would be the best way to go. All right. Aside from that, this is going to be a great event. Things, just some to debrief you on the last 2 weeks. So we did Auburn Mountain View on week 1. Last weekend we did Glacier Peak in Oregon City, Oregon. The events actually are running much better. Few things to give you a heads up on. This is an extremely difficult and hard game for our referees to deal with. They are responsible for monitoring not only the scoring, but they're also responsible for monitoring for fouls, and they're also dealing with a software control system on the field that has some clunkiness to it. We do occasionally replay matches if the referees have demonstrable doubt amongst themselves about the outcome of the game. And that occasionally happens. I think we had to rerun maybe 4 matches in Oregon City. We had to rerun a couple of matches in Glacier Peak, I think just the 1 or 2. Having said that, the way this game works is just like every other sporting game in the world. Occasionally the referees don't see something. We do not do video replays. We do not take your word for it. Sorry. So if you do have a question about the outcome of the game, by all means visit the question box. The head referee we take each and every one of these questions very, very seriously, but we can't hold up the gameplay for too long going through minute details. We make every possible effort to make sure that all scores are accounted for and all fouls are fair and honestly accounted. Teams also miss things, by the way. So every time a question gets answered, somebody is going to be disappointed. We apologize about that. These are all volunteer referees. They are doing the best they can with a very trying game. There are occasionally missed penalties. There are occasionally issues that arise. They will take care of them the best they can, but the referee's word is final. So there you go, a little word of warning on that. Please pay very close attention to G24 and G40. If you don't know what those are, you better look those up in the rules. One of them is the human player reaching out beyond the yellow line. That gets called a lot, and it's cost teams dearly. So your human players need to realize they cannot reach out into the field, or at any time can they come in contact with a robot on the field. It is a huge penalty. It is 50 points. You can get multiple in one session, and those points accrue to your opponents. So we've seen some enormous scores. I think one round had 100 penalty points awarded to the other team, and because of repeated breakage of the rule about not reaching into the field. Okay. Inspections, on-field inspections, a lot of them have to do with when the robots are starting with a ball, that the robot has extended the frame perimeter. That's something that you'll need to catch on your own. They will not let you run that way. So we had a number of teams have to all of a sudden sit out because they were unable to get the ball onto the robot without the robot exceeding the frame perimeter. Very common problem. So keep an eye open for that. The other thing is that the balls fly. You'd be amazed at Mean Machine from the Vancouver area, they could actually shoot the ball most of the distance of the field. It was quite an impressive mechanism. When the ball goes through the goal, it flies pretty far. So if you are behind the field at any time, keep your eyes open or you're going to get blindsided by the ball. All right. That is kind of the observations that we've had. We appreciate your help in making this run smoothly, and we will have a great event. Adrian, did I miss anything?
Not so far.
Not so far? Okay, because this is my last slide.
All right. Well, perfect timing. It's 6:50, so you're doing good.
Woohoo! All right. So, oops, like I said, I did these slides. I finished them, well, at 6:03. We've had a long day. So these will actually be on the Auburn portion of our website. And I think, actually, now that I've said this, so how are we doing on volunteers? Do we need to recruit anybody right now?
Give me 2 seconds to look it up. I believe that we're actually, in general, doing okay at Auburn, but...
Okay. So meanwhile, I've got some questions I'm going to answer here real quick. Paper consent form for a student delivered at first event. Do we need another for the second event? Thank you, Randy Steele. No, you do not. If your team member has submitted a form, they are covered for the entire year. High Techers just received an email that they may relax the rule on the human on the field, and I'm not going to comment on that. I will allow FIRST to send out an official email. Let's find out what happens. Don't take anything on hearsay. If it isn't announced in the Q&A, it is not actually an official ruling. So you can forward your email all you want. If it ain't in the Q&A, we don't care. How do we make sure our Dean's List students get interviewed? Get on the interview list. Spots were full at your first district. Thank you, Tanya, for that. We allocated a uniform spread of Dean's List interviews across all of our events. If you have a student and this is your second play, they should be on that interview list. If for some reason they do not get an interview spot, you should immediately contact PID admin and ask them to tell the judge advisor that you have a Dean's List student who did not get interviewed. We believe that we have that covered. We are, however, definitely fallible. So if we miss that, please let us know. Connor's asking 2 foot by 3 foot poster for the volunteers ? Jan, is a 2 foot by 3 foot poster okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So Adrian, how are we looking for setup?
So it looked, well, let's see, for setup and tear down. I'm trying to go down to that space here. I'm just going to go down the list because I went back to the top. So it looks like we do need an FTAA at this event. That's a fairly technical position. We could use a couple more for field reset, and that's something that students could do. We could use some more in PIT admin. We really don't have anybody signed up other than our lead. Sorry, I'm going down to the rest of them are looking pretty good. Event setup, we actually have 8 for setup and 7 for tear down. That's for the event, and 4 and 4 for the field. We could use a few more. What we really need for the field are adults. The students do a great job, but really where we seem to need some support is some adults to kind of help coordinate the students. It also looks like we're a little shy on judges. We have 16 out of 20 judges. So if you have friends or sponsors or people that you could ask about judging. Judging is really a lot of fun. Those people who judge end up coming back again and again because it's a really fun thing to do.
All right, cool. And then, oh, I guess I'm on the wrong screen. Well, I guess there's no secrets here. So field disassembly and event teardown. So we're okay on event teardown. We probably need some help with disassembly and assembly.
Yeah.
Okay. So what this is and here's the deal, folks. One of the things that we're trying to do with this is we're trying to spread the knowledge around on how to do one of these events and how to do an off-season event. So if your team has ever considered the idea of doing an off-season event and would like to borrow our field, probably the best thing you can do for yourself is to get a couple of your either students or recent alumni or mentors involved with field setup and teardown so that they can get a feel for it. We won't lend fields to people who are coming completely out of the blue, who we don't know, who have never set up a field before. So the best way, if you're ever planning on maybe borrowing our field to do something, is to send some students and some mentors to learn from us how the thing sets up and tears down. So this is a great way to do this. Plus, it just expands our volunteer pool, and it's actually kind of fun to see how the whole thing gets put together from that stage. So event setup starts at 3 o'clock on Thursday. Event teardown usually starts about 10 or 15 minutes after the award ceremony. It takes us about 3 hours to tear down and load the truck back up. We oftentimes need quite a bit of help. What we're really looking for are people who can stay until like 8:30 at night. One of the things that we need to do is we need to there's a lot of stuff at the beginning. We're taking down pipe and drape, doing a whole bunch of production stuff. There's a little bit of a lull in the middle when the field is actually being packed up. That has to be put together in a specific way. And then right at the end, we need people to help us with carpet and the floor protection and a bunch of other things and actually getting the things onto the truck. So we sort of need a lot of people somewhere around the 7:30 to 8:30 range. If we had like a dozen people at that point, that would be totally awesome. We will feed you. We will show you where stuff is and show you how to coil cores and do all those cool things. Great for students. We will also sign volunteer hour sheets if needed. And we'll give you a hearty handshake and I might even give you a hug if you're nice to me. So there you go. That's my plea for this. To do this, what we'd like you to do is I will go start at the beginning. If you go to volunteer.firstsquad.org, and then if you don't have an account with us, just create a new account. You'll do the old give us your email and your pertinence, and we'll email you a confirmation link. And then after that, you'll be able to log in, and it's actually a permanent record, and we'll keep track of you. Once you log in, you can actually go up and select an event. You would be selecting the Auburn High School event, and you can offer to volunteer, and there's a whole list of jobs on here. We're looking for some awesome people who wouldn't mind being down here in the setup area. So event setup and teardown, field assembly, and disassembly. They're very similar. They're very related jobs. We actually intermix these two quite a bit. We are also looking for field reset. Wasn't that correct?
That is correct.
Field reset, awesome job for students. We will train you. You will get a T-shirt. You will be down in the action. That's the plus side. But we do need people that can do this all day long. So, and it's a very fast action game, and you're actually part of the game. Field reset's very, very important to the game this year. Field reset isn't even really the right term for it. They are the ones that move the field components around and put them into play. So they have a very important role this year. So if you've got some students who are not otherwise engaged, love to have them help out. It is a constantly in motion day for them. So if you've got if there are any restrictions or fitness issues, that may not be the best spot for them. We're looking for energetic, fit, and people who can pay attention. There's a lot of attention to be paid on this one. All right. So you can sign up for one of these roles, and our volunteer coordinators will be in touch with you. Thank you so much for that. We're also during the day looking for help with safety glasses. Adrian, how are we doing on practice field?
Practice field, there were a couple people on practice field, so okay. I think
the organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.